Hey everybody, welcome back to Rollin' Ragu. I'm Owen.
I'm Tony.
I'm Cindy.
And I'm Ethan.
Today is the day that we had at least three, scary failures all in one day.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Our first sign that our day was going to take a turn was we had a trucker that was following pretty close behind us, and I didn't know why he was behind us like he was. But we ended up stopping at a gas station, and he pulled over with us. He gets out, and he's telling us, he's been trying to tell us that our toolbox on the back of the trailer was basically blowing itself apart as we go down the highway.
So we're on our way to Taos, or Taos, and a trucker was trying to signal us. We stopped here at a gas station, and my toolbox that I was so proud of was coming apart.
My neighbor had the toolbox in an old truck, and he was going to throw it out. So I said, hey, we'll take that. And the boys and I brought it home. Remember the day we spent
we
sanding
cleaned
it? And we took the wire brush and
Real good
brushed
care
it
of
down. And man, we
looked good.
made it look good.
I don't like to talk about that day.
And it was a nice addition to the trailer. It gave us, it doubled our outdoor storage.
Yeah.
And he said had my power cords and my hose and everything in there. And anyway, this thing, he said the power cord was kind of dangling out as I'd hit bumps, so we got lucky. But it's basically kind of falling apart. So we're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna strap it maybe just to get us through the day.
Are you missing anything?
I think we're missing the biggest fancy adapter, the 50 amp adapter.
Where's our electric?
Mom put that in the trailer. What about your drill? Where's your drill?
Yeah, put it inside blocks.
You did? Mom, did you see the drill, the electric drill?
Oh, here it is. It's right here.
Okay, I didn't know if you had the electric drill.
But apparently there was a reason that he was throwing it out.
Yeah.
It started falling apart, and so we bungeed it up and got back on the road.
So we were heading to Villanueva State Park, and there was a GPS took us down a road that we probably wouldn't have gone if we would have known. It was very windy and steep.
That
and
GPS.
That darn
Yeah.
GPS. It was a beautiful road, but it was pretty scary. And
Always double check your GPS. I was in first gear, and it was extremely steep, and so we were trying to keep our speed way down. And I think it was you, Cindy, heard something rattling or making a noise.
scraping or something. Yeah, I think that was scraping.
Having a problem with my weight distribution bar, the right one, staying in it. It falls out, I think, when I make a sharp turn. And we realized here we probably went, I don't know how far we've traveled with the bar out, and we got lucky. It dropped into the safety chains, and stayed up, but it did get all scarred up and beat up on the ground.
So you know that tip that people give you when you're hooking up safety chains on a trailer to crisscross them, so that if the trailer ever comes unhooked, the tongue of the trailer will settle down into your safety chains and it won't drag the ground. Well, our weight distribution bar settled in to that crossing of safety chains, and that's what kept it from potentially being a real big mess back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I got out and I tried to do what I could on the roadside, and I wanted to use my electric tongue jack to lift up the trailer so I could get things back in place, and the tongue jack wouldn't work. So
Surprise!
we were only a couple of miles from the state park, so we kind of were able to just limp back into our campsite.
That wasn't all.
So I'm not sure if it's usable even. And one of the large bolts in the easy hitch looks to be broken in the hitch. So we got a couple of things there to worry about. And then we're going to Villanueva State Park, and it is really bringing us back through quite a bit of low income, sort of sketchy looking neighborhood. And our GPS was not correct. It took us to a place a few miles from here, and so a couple of little bumps in the road.
So when we got into the state park, they had a long loop. They had like a cul-de-sac at the back. Remember that? And Cindy got out and watched the trailer as I made several loops around this cul-de-sac to see if we could figure out what was happening with the weight distribution hitch.
And when he did that, it kept falling out of the hole that you put it up into.
Yeah.
And it kept falling out.
Learning a real lesson today, and I wanted to share it. Our Lord works in mysterious ways, and He worked on me last night. We've got a few issues happening. I forget if I talked about it or not, but on the weight distribution hitch, the one of the bars keeps falling out. The electric jack quit working at the same time. And we're in a location that doesn't have any cell towers. And it may have struck you as a bit judgmental when I made the comment as we drove into this campground about being in what looked like a shady area that I need to be careful in. Well, we get here and we can't find a site. And this is where blessings start coming our way. A lady comes out from her site, sees us driving in circles, and she says, "Hey, this site right over here is available because I paid for it. It's my son's site, but my son won't be able to make it tonight, and so you go ahead and take it." That was the first blessing.
So we got settled in our campsite and decided it would be a nice idea to give the people who gave us the campsite a thank you letter.
Yeah, so the boys drew a nice picture and a picture of their camper on that campsite, and we went over and gave it to them. It was real nice.
Got to spend
Yeah.
a little time with them, get to know them a little bit. They're very nice, very thoughtful of them to,
After we got set up, I went and found the camp host and asked a few questions. I wanted to find somebody that might have some knowledge about these jacks because I didn't think it was broken, but I thought maybe it had a shear pin or somehow slipped out of gear or something. Well, he knew exactly what I was talking about and exactly what to do, and so he had a large pipe wrench and he put it on the jack, and I hit the button, and we got the jack working again. So he helped us in that way, and I asked him a few questions about the weight distribution hitch as well. You know, let me describe the guy that's helping. His name is Gilbert, and he's an older gentleman, Hispanic, and has a long ponytail. So you can start to pass judgment when you see him from across the street. Turned out to be the most kind person and willing to help. And he's out this morning. Our weight distribution bar, when it fell on the ground, it got a little bit ground because it was dragging on the street. And he's out this morning. He took the bar to the shop here at the state park. He's putting a weld bead on it in the area that had ground off, and then he's going to reshape it so that it should be back to its original shape, and hopefully that helps it stay in position. I mean, going above and beyond from a person that I originally lessons to you know, it's okay to be cautious. It's okay to see something and think, hey, I need to be a little careful in this situation. That there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm learning to do it with a more open mind. Expect good first instead of the opposite. So that's my lessons today, and hopefully he gets that bar put back together and we put it in, and we're just off and running back on our trip. So he just came back. He had built it up a little bit, and it was a little too big to fit in the hole. So now he went back to the shop. He's going to grind it down a little bit. Anyway, as I was saying before he pulled up, so yesterday afternoon I asked him, even though he's the host at the state park, I said, would you like to sit and have a beer? And he did. And so we sat for a while and talked, and I got to know him a bit better. He's a retired truck driver. He's on disability. His feet, the doctors can't figure out what's going on, but his feet won't sweat, and they're on fire all the time, and it's hard for him to walk. He's in pain. He's been the camp host here for 7 years. He drove fuel trucks, and he's convinced that the walking in fuel often somehow, you know, even though he had shoes on, somehow got in, and he has chemical burns on his feet or some sort of chemical reactions that are keeping his feet from sweating. Villanueva State Park, we're I don't know, east of Santa Fe, west of Las Vegas, New Mexico, and really nice guy. If you ever come by, say hello to him, and tell him you heard me. You heard me thanking him here on the channel. I'd be really embarrassed for him to know that I was doing this, but I'm going to set the camera up when he comes back. You'll see a little bit of him helping.
turns out Gilbert was a real friendly fellow. Not only was he willing to help, but he was able to help. He fixed the weight distribution, he fixed the jack, did it all with a smile on his face, and taught me a few lessons
Thank you,
while he was doing
Gilbert.
it.
Thank you for joining us today. Like and subscribe. See us next time at Cimarron Canyon.